Live from Fernie, Canada. This is your motivational, sensational, inspirational, educational, aspirational, international, keenly awaited, daily created, highly anticipated edition of the Afternoon Swing Trading Floor with your humble host, Jeremy Alexander Newsom, with another daily dose of mentally delicious brain food, reminding each of you to love life, and trade it. What's going on, folks, from around the world? Starting at a little bit of a different time today than normal. And I figured this still could be like a 1 hour afternoon room, but I figured I'll just make it 2 hours, number one, because I know I've been traveling and haven't been in the morning room as much as normally. And also because we have an interview coming up later this afternoon. Now, yes, I normally do interviews on Wednesday, and I did do one yesterday, with Felix Hartman. So you'll all get that email out later. But today's interview, more or less, was just scheduled at this particular time that made me kind of update the afternoon room time frame a little bit. And I figured it was a special guest. A lot of traders would like to hear from the gentleman that we'll be speaking with. And that person is Tom Sosnoff, one of the original creators of Thinkorswim and Tasty Works. He's also one of the he's the guy who wears the beret on Tasty Trades. So, yep, it's going to be great. And we'll be interviewing him in about 30 minutes. And after we do that, we'll continue to carry on. All should be good. Pretty pumped. So anyway, I mean, realistically, we can just dive in and wait for everyone else to get here. But there's plenty of people here presently. I know we're here a little bit early, but again, I'll be recording the whole session for those who do come in late. What's going on, Joanne? How are you? Hope you're doing amazing. Who else we got in the building? Arabia's here, Brady, Michael, Mike Ramsey, Nicole, Miss Sharon Baldwin, Thomas, Tim. Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we can just start off like normal by talking about the SPY and chatting it up. So realistically, the SPY didn't do all that much today. We did gap down, but like most of the recent gap downs, at least in the last month or two, SPY has got bought up. Even if it was just a little bit, it did get bought up some. So here's the hourly chart on SPY. And again, towards the very last few minutes of the day, there's a little bit of selling. So here's the 5-minute chart on SPY. So, usually the last 15 minutes, you get a decent move in one direction or another. One way, one move, higher, lower, we'll kind of have to see. But this morning, my analysis was relatively bullish, and this was the high of yesterday, was right here. Sorry, the low of yesterday. So the low of yesterday on the SPY acted as a resistance, and this was one gnarly bearish candle. But that bearish candle actually got bought up. So I had a few traders ask me, on the SPY, hey, is this still a bullish, somewhere to be bullish? And I was like, yeah. I mean, that's a big sell-off, but it happened really quickly. And normally when you get those kind of sell-offs, you get that little double bottom type of pattern. And you can see on the SPY a really cute little double bottom right here. Good close above the neckline. Nice little rotation. So decent move on the SPY overall. But, I mean, what do we do from here exactly? Well, we did gap down. It was relatively fun to play early this morning, and there was a few bearish moves. But at this point, we have a nice high wave candle on the SPY. It's not really an evening star reversal. I mean, it kind of is. So there's, it's somewhat an evening star. It's a weak one. So for me to get interested in this candle, we'd need to close below the low of Tuesday's candle. We get a close below there. Sure, I'll be a little bit bearish potentially, but until then, I think all is good for the most part on the SPY. Yep, that's about it on the SPY. Here's the Qs. And the Qs, again, you did have a bearish candle. We did gap down on the Qs. We did get bought up a little bit. And at the present moment in time, things look pretty good. So the Qs right now are just mostly hanging out. And again, the trend still looks kind of bullish. The weekly chart obviously looks bullish. You have a lot of white candles in a row. So yes, obviously the question is, when will a sell-off transpire? When will we get an actual week of selling? But until that occurs, I mean, the trend is your friend. And right now the trend is a little bit on the bullish side. Mike says, I found that the SPX was making a little bit of a higher low on a 120-minute chart, so I tiptoed in. Yep, I can respect that. I think a lot of people did that today as well. You know, so if you're hopping in here to an hourly chart, which is almost 120 minutes, yeah, again, decent little bullish trend on the Qs. Nothing too wild or crazy, but for the most part, just hanging out. Here's the Dow Jones. Dow Jones. And again, the Dow Jones, we did close down today, but, you know, small high wave candle, looking good, nothing too wild. As always, one candle can change everything, including your life. So, yes, we could get a nice gap down on the Dow tomorrow or a gap up. So, very similar to Monday, you have a candle where if tomorrow, which would be Friday morning, if we do get a good gap up or a good gap down, that would be a really nice gap for Friday. So I'll make sure to get Mike Oldfield up tomorrow, to make sure he can trade with me tomorrow open, 7:30 a.m. over here in Fernie, Canada, because it could be a good day, just depending on today's candle. Because, again, you got this nice high wave candle, and we'll see if we get a little bit of a gap. Here's the IWM, and the IWM rocking strong right now. Decent looking trends. Again, we actually did make a higher high. Volume looks okay. Here's the hourly chart. I mean, again, you got a little bit of selling towards the tail end of the day, but right now it looks pretty good. So we'll see what we get out there, team. We do have some bullish swing trades out there, and we'll be talking about those. In fact, we might as well just go ahead and blaze through a few of them. Blue Apron was one that we got into back on the 15th of January. And you could have been getting triggered into that trade all the way up until really just Monday of this week. So Blue Apron, we did close above this candle on Tuesday. So I guess I'm going to continue holding Blue Apron. So I said by the end of day Friday, and it's up there. So Blue Apron looks good. Next on the list is Sky, ticker symbol SKY. And this one today, again, 1950 was our actual entry. It did close down, but we do have a nice little white candle today on the 10 EMA. So let's see if Skyline Champion Corporation, based on this gap, can slowly grind higher. I like our stop where it is. I do like the fact that we entered a little bit lower. We didn't really take a breakout, but today's lower shadow traded right into the 10 EMA on a daily. And again, since today is a special 2-hour edition of the Afternoon Room, we might go a little bit long today as well. Well, I say long, and we're going to go, obviously going to go long anyway, but we'll be able to look at a lot of trades for a lot of people. Teradyne, ticker symbol TER, this one had a pretty move. So check out TER. Again, decent little candle. I don't have any target on this one right now, but we're up right at an R on Teradyne. And another big question is, how long is this going to go? Right? How long is the market going to go higher? How long will this particular stock go higher? All those questions are valid. We do still have some time until March gets here. So we have pretty much effectively 2 weeks left of trading. Although, another reason I want to go a little bit long today, there is a market holiday around the corner. So the U.S. markets are closed on the 18th of this month, which is President's Day. So yeah, President's Day, 18th of February, the U.S. markets are closed. That is this upcoming Monday. So just something to keep in mind. Nothing scary or concerning necessarily, but just something you probably want to factor in. Yeah, so realistically on TER, what could happen and very well might, I'm not saying this will, but it theoretically and certainly could, if Blue Apron, so right now we're up on Blue Apron, right? And right now we're also up on Teradyne, TER. The other swing trade that we're in is ICLK. So here's ICLK. And this one starting to get a little bit of a pop. Some volume is coming in. That's glorious. The exact candle we wanted to see on the exact day. Love it. Good volume. So hopefully some volume scanners will start picking this bad boy up and she'll start to rampage higher. But that is perfect. Really like that on ICLK. So that's starting to move well, which is great. And GILD is also up a little bit. So from the weekly options newsletter trade, it's not bad, I don't think. Here's the hourly time frame. And again, we sold off in the last hour of the day, really the last 10 minutes. But that was most of the market. So most of the market getting a little bit of a sell-off towards the end of the day. GILD along, on that list for sell-offs. But we'll just kind of have to see. If we go a little bit higher and start slowly creeping up, then obviously we could be exiting this one for a small gain. But the reason I'm bringing it up is, again, right now, Sky is the only one that we're down on. So if we have a really good day tomorrow and we go up on GILD, Sky, Teradyne, ICLK, and Blue Apron, that would be 5 swing trades that we're profitable on. And that would be the time where I would exit all of those swing trades for a profit. Not saying it will happen, but it could happen tomorrow. So fingers crossed. Keep an eye out for that Slack post. If I do send that out, I'll let everyone know. I'll also send out an email on the weekly options newsletter. That's GILD. And here is another one that I wanted to look at. This is Square. And the reason I'm looking at Square is because this was an official swing trade that we looked at yesterday, and we did set it up. I had a feeling in my bones that Square would gap down today, throw in a lower shadow, and bounce. And I was hoping that that low would get into 73.04. So it didn't quite happen. Didn't quite get there. But the closer we get to earnings on Square, the less likely I will be to take an actual directional swing trade. I was really kind of hoping that we would get filled today. But guess who's going to be watching Square tomorrow for a gap up? This guy. I'll be watching Square again tomorrow for a gap up. Now, what I'll be looking for is a gap around 76.40. We do have a little bit of a lower shadow at the close of today, and we are above the 100 simple. We're above the 200 simple. You got a good close. I think Square is breaking out, team. And again, if you have long-term shares, congratulations. My buddy Drake said that he bought to close a covered call. If you did buy to close a covered call, or anyone has some covered calls out there on Square that expire this Friday, let me know. But at this particular juncture right now, this trade just looks cute. So this particular swing trade will just cancel, is what I'm trying to get at. This particular one will cancel. And we'll look at Square again tomorrow because many traders do have some put sales on Square expiring tomorrow. All right. So Friday morning, ticker symbol SQ. All right. Got it. Next, what was this one? So let me go in and just cancel this one really quick. And then I think I got bad news. Can someone verify for me when earnings are on UXIN? So one source said the 25th of this month, and another source says the 19th. The source that says the 19th is Thinkorswim. This is exactly what I wanted on UXIN. We would have like 2 days to be in this trade. So what I'm going to do on UXIN is more or less just set an alert. So I'm going to add an alert on this bad boy, and I will cancel this particular swing trade, and I'll just watch it for a day trade. Now, if you want to, what I also very well might do, and I'm vastly considering this, is doing an absolute zero position over earnings. So that way, there's no way we can lose a full R. I mean, in fact, I think I'm just going to do that. Because it's not going to go to zero. We know that. So if it does break out, I mean, because this is exactly what you would want. Yeah, let's just do this. I don't even need the alert. Let's just do the absolute zero. So that way we're at least in if it starts moving really nicely. All right. I mean, you can even probably put it at 1 or 2. It's not going to gap down that. I mean, yeah, it's not going to get down to 1. So if it gapped down on earnings, let's see how far that would be. $2 would be 40%. So yeah, we could put it at 1. It ain't going to go down to 1. I don't mind holding this over earnings. Okay. So let's update that trade and make the stop a $1 stop loss. Because again, it's a relatively cheapo stocks, but I mean, with the R strategy, it still works the exact same. Okay. Updated stop on UXIN official swing trade. Neil said it does have options. Yes, it does. You could also play it with options if you want to. Another strong potential, just something to keep in mind. With a stop this low, it will 99.999% chance it will not gap down there and hit it on earnings. And if it does, it will only be 1 R loss. UXIN does have options, by the way. Just something to keep an eye out for. So, Mike, thank you for letting me know that. Just a little bit of an update. Perfection. Okay. So, again, nice loose stop on UXIN, just in case it pops. Because then we could increase the stop, we could add to the trade, we could do all kinds of fun things, and just kind of play it accordingly. All right, so we have a few more minutes before we go get Tomsters, and rock out a little bit of an interview. Let me make sure that's all of the swing trade updates. We have one more that I'll update. So GILD, we canceled MC, got stopped out of AMD. All right. So one other update. This is on Netflix. And Netflix. So again, per my plan, I did unravel. And mostly because it just looks like it just looks bullish. Really not that of an expensive of an unravel. Only costs $5.40 for that $3.85 call option to buy to cover. So if Netflix decides to break out of this pattern, everything should be fine. So we can pretty much take all this off. And here's what I'm going to write in here. So as of today is 2/14/19. Netflix 390 and 380 long calls. I will turn these into a debit spread, hopefully in 3 to 4 days, by selling a 405 or higher, expiring in March. And fingers crossed for a move higher. Doesn't have to be that much of a move higher for this unravel to work out. It still actually might, again, with as high as the market is, theoretically, and not even theoretically, we could just do this and then tank, because at some point the market has to pull back. So if that does happen on Netflix, I get it. I really will try my best to sell some options against these options that will pay for the trades. If I can't find a really good spread, an option sale on Netflix, if I can make money on the 390 and the 380 calls, then I will just sell those. So bottom line, I need to get over $6 on both of those options. If I can get over $6 on both the 380 and the 390, all should be good. So that's kind of what I'm looking for on Netflix, just as an update. Now, my boy Bob still has his put sale. Let me make this a little bit of a smaller font. So my Bob has a 255 June put sale. We still have the bull put spread 295, 290 for March. That is pretty far away at this point. But again, anything is possible on Netflix. So I don't think we'll need to unravel this one. At least I hope so. Hope not, but we'll see. All right, so that's Netflix. And I figured we can hop over to NVIDIA really quick before we get Tom on the line and just look at what they're doing on earnings. And we're gapping up to about 162. Pretty decent gap on NVIDIA. So it looks like Dr. Falconium has himself a 180 covered call expiring tomorrow. So I got to put NVIDIA. Okay, so NVIDIA's on the list. Oh, he bought it back already. Oh, my bad. So yeah, let's just see how it gaps. I mean, that's all we can do. Right now it's popping a little bit. We'll see how it holds. Obviously, with earnings and pre-market, post-market, anything is possible. Anything is possible when you're part of a team. So with this particular gap on NVIDIA, I mean, if it opens above the high of this candle, 160.88, it should be a pretty decent gap. It really should be. I think that's really it. I mean, we'll look at NVIDIA. So Blake Anderson is rocking out the morning room tomorrow morning, and he will be, I'm positive, looking at NVDA. So that's really all I got on that one. Any questions on NVIDIA? Okay. Let's hop over then into CAR. And there's a few people in CAR and still massively sideways. Pretty intensely sideways. That is some beautiful pressure. That pressure is building. So Avis Budget, ticker symbol CAR. I mean, if it does pop, I kind of like the volume coming in. Looks decent. We will just kind of have to see how that plays out on ticker symbol CAR. But again, earnings are next week. So I guess we'll just look at this one on Tuesday and see what it does. I think earnings are on the 21st. Yeah, so again, Monday, markets are closed on Monday. So the markets are closed on Monday. Beautiful. Doing good. All right, next on the list, we have Pivotal Software. And Pivotal, there she goes, folks. So she popped. We've been looking at this one for the last few days. And there's some traders who bought a share or two of Pivotal today. If you did not get in, you could still do this entry on a pullback, which would be 1996. Bob's in some shares as well. Your boy's in some shares, so we'll just get to see what she does. I know earnings are around the corner. My girl Sharon Baldwin's in at 1962, and I got the protective put trigger will be 1883. So 1883 is going to be the protective put. So pretty much meaning if pivotal, like if it closes below here. So that's the thing is if it closes, I'm gonna look to do an April 19 or 18, one of the two. So April 18 or 19. And we're just gonna have to see. Falco's in from 1923, very nice. And again, he also has a put sale at 16. So Falco is in technically almost something called a synthetic long. I can't spell synthetic. Synthetic long, which is a put sale and long shares. Could also be long calls as well. Long calls. So if you do a put sale and then you get into the same position bullish, it's oftentimes referred to as a synthetic long. But anyway, it does look good. Looks kind of toasty and had a good little breakout today. So what's it going to do from here? I mean, I have no idea. We'll see if it goes bullish. That's obviously the goal. That is what I would like. Make that a 20. And so again, this is the weekly chart. And the weekly chart, you really actually did have a decent rest right here. You can kind of see it did trade sideways for just a little bit. Just a little bit on Pivotal Software. Let's go look at the long-term moving averages. So the 200's at $20.63. So that 200 just got formed the other day, right? So obviously we could pause there a little bit. This doesn't have to be, and it doesn't mean it's going to be an absolute stormtrooper of a bullish trade. I just like the fact that it took out this low. And again, and also you got this like inverted head and shoulders pattern. Boom, 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 and we're close above the neckline. So we might hang out here again on the 200 for a little bit, but then from there we should pop out of there. All right. Next we'll do Spotify really quick. I don't think that's going to take very long. So Spotify, SPOT, just some good volume coming in. Had earnings. Earnings are out. They really weren't that bad. Slack's around the corner, and you actually did have a bearish high wave candle last week on Spotify. So if anyone's looking at playing Spotify, a pullback to about 141.63 makes loads of sense. Good volume coming in. Here's your exponential moving averages. Great looking trend. Nice little gap. I mean, I like Spotify. Spotify looks pretty. Here's the long-term moving averages on the daily chart. We just got above the 100. So if you're looking for kind of like a bullish, a little bit of more of an expensive bullish stock, then Spotify could be the one that you snag. All right, let's do a new recording. I want to just make sure I double record everything. Make sure this recording's turned on. Beautiful. All right, let me click. What happens if I click record? Built-in system audio. Perfect. All right. Great. So let's go get our guests on for this interview session. Just going to pause really quick and bring this up and then click on this button and then type in a phone call. All right. I think you guys should still be able to hear me. And what we're doing right now is just going to ring Tom Sosnoff. He is creating a new exchange, and I would love to hear a little bit more about it, ask him some questions, and just get some intel. So let's see if this will work. It should. Give me one moment. Why is that not working? Let's see if I can do this. I think this should work. All right. Gonna have to do another one. Okay. That one, that Gmail account is not working. Let me try another one. No, it works. So I just did it yesterday.
Hello, Tom.
Mr. Sosnoff, how are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good, buddy. This is Jeremy Newsom with Real Life Trading. Thanks so much, man, for taking time and having some availability to chat with us today.
Cool. Yeah, no problem. I just have a bad my voice is a little off today because I'm cold, but don't worry about that.
Oh man, hope you get feeling better. You've been traveling a lot, just one of those cold things.
A little bullshit weather here in Chicago, that kind of thing.
Yeah, no, I totally understand, man. Well, you sound good on my end, so I appreciate you taking your time with us today. I want to just do a quick interview and kind of ask you some questions about the exchange that you're working on building. You're a man that doesn't really need much of an intro. So can you just let us know, I mean, why spend all of this time and energy and resources on building an exchange?
First of all, the whole idea of, we feel like we've done a lot in the last 30, 40 years. And part of it is, changing content, and part of it is changing, brokerage and all that. And it's been a big part of our lives. But one of the things we've never done is change the way exchanges interact with customers and how they create products and fees and provide data for customers and how the exchange technology, should look and should work. And it's never been right in my mind. So we plan to build our own exchange to kind of address, all those things, from products to size, to notional size, to volatility, to the way the technology interacts with, with the order flow, to just to the way the customers interact with, the exchange products, and to simplify everything, to standardize everything. And there's basically, in the futures world, there's two exchanges. There's two exchanges with about market cap of whatever, 75 billion each, something like that.
Sure.
And nobody's ever disrupted them. So here we come.
I love it.
That's my thing. Yeah.
Yes. No, you are a disruptor, and you always have been. I'm a huge advocate of Thinkorswim. I use it every day. And of course, with Tastyworks and Tasty Trades, tons of people learning from both of those platforms. So again, thank you for disrupting the industry, because it needs it.
Yeah. So now we're building technology that, we couldn't build. The technology we built at Thinkorswim at the time was kind of was pretty groundbreaking. And then the technology we're building now with Tastyworks is, again, groundbreaking, but it's also the content, and it's the way we it's the way we kind of integrate everything together. And then we got fees really low too. So we're trying to make this so that customers have a, true level playing field. But the one part we can't control now is the exchange. So we're going to try to control that too. And then we'll have the full circle.
So
that's kind of,
No, that makes tons of sense. I mean, can you explain to people, how is it different than Tastyworks? Like, what is an exchange versus a broker?
Well, Tastyworks. So Tastyworks is a brokerage firm. Tastyworks, is essentially the front end. It's how individual investors, and Tastyworks is only for individual investors, not for professionals or anything like that. So it's how individual self-directed investors go from kind of thought process to actual execution. Mm-hmm. And you have to go through a broker to fill your orders. Mm-hmm. And to be able to access the various exchanges and to do whatever it is you want to do on any of those exchanges, because we support stock options, futures exchanges, futures options. We're about to support digital currencies, and so everything else. And that's how customers get from thought to to execution. So they have a real risk on. But exchanges are different. Exchanges are essentially facilitators, and exchanges. They make a small amount of money from every time somebody trades their products, and that's really their model. They're designed to to sit there and to facilitate, liquidity, which is very different. Brokerage firms don't facilitate liquidity. Brokerage firms just bring orders to the marketplace, which adds liquidity, but they don't facilitate liquidity. Exchanges just facilitate, buyers and sellers and traders, and they provide the technology to do that. So that's what we're doing. We're building all brand new exchange technology. We're building a technology. It's just on exchanges. It's called a matching engine, and we're building all brand new matching engines, not using any existing ones that are on the marketplace. And we're combining those matching engines with all brand new products that we created ourselves, and all with much smaller notional value. So they're much smaller products. That's why we call it the small exchange.
The smallexchange.com.
Yeah, and also we're doing something else that's really different from what anybody else has ever done before. We want this to be a customer exchange because it's for customers. So we want it to be a customer exchange. So we're offering subscriptions to the exchange for $100, which is as low as we could possibly make it. Now they're not investments, although they do turn into seats when we eventually launch the exchange in probably 8 or 9 months. These subscriptions will become seats on the exchange, but the seats aren't designed to appreciate and value you just because they're exchange seats. They're designed to give discounts to the customers on exchange fees. So we're trying to find ways to have customers getting exchange fee discounts and data fee discounts so that they can trade really inexpensively. And at the same time, we would have hopefully more individual self-directed investors as exchange subscribers than anybody's ever done before. And so so far everything's going great. And so we hope to have a ton of subscribers by the time we launch.
That is super interesting. When did you come up with this idea? Like, when did it pop in your head?
About 15 years ago.
Love it.
It was probably in about 2005, and we started to work on, as our brokerage firm was growing, we started to say, hey, there's products we need to create out there. Excuse me. There's products we need to create. And some of those products, because I'm sorry, man, I'm just sick. There's my thought process going back about 15 years was that the current exchanges, the notional size of futures products is just simply too big. And the way futures exchanges have their option markets aren't that good. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to build smaller products, higher implied volatility, that would allow individual investors, that have $25,000 or $50,000 accounts to access a futures marketplace. Mm-hmm. Sounds like I'm dying. I know. I'm sorry, man. Sorry, Jeremy.
It's okay.
I should move out of this room with this crazy air conditioner, but I've been traveling this whole last couple of weeks and coming back to Chicago, being awfully cold, it just messed me up.
No, I get it, man. The travel bug it's a real thing. These are real things, especially putting the grinder, because the changing of the weather has been so wild recently. So
well, pretty soon we'll be trading weather, so.
Oh no.
Well, we won't offer it right away on our exchange, but you will have weather futures. I mean, they exist today. They're not very popular, customer products.
Not very liquid.
But yeah, no, there's nothing there. But, over time, there's going to be products. I mean, people will be trading, there'll be political things, there'll be sports events, there'll be cannabis and digital, and there'll be lots of different things for people to get excited about.
I got a question for you, Tom. Maybe only you might be able to answer. When do you think, if you had to hypothesize, that we have a 24-hour equity market? I know it's coming, but when is it going to happen, do you think?
I don't know. They thought about it. They thought about it a long time ago. They tried to do it a couple times. The problem with the 24-hour equity market is somebody's got to make markets, and the equity marketplace is not as purely electronic as some of the other marketplaces are. So there's a lot of scattered market making. So it all just comes down to how much money can these firms make by making markets overnight. It's already certain firms two and other places make markets all night long, but nobody trades them. But they make markets all night long. I think that the simple answer is it's a matter of time. Mm-hmm. How much they actually trade at night, it won't be that much. But it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, it has to be. I mean, that was just right around the corner. Well, getting back to kind of like what you're talking about with the exchange, I'd be interested to know, just from an entrepreneurial business owner experience and perspective, what was your number one challenge in creating this exchange?
Finding the time to do it, really just finding the time. We build a lot of things, and this is not, we know this is going to cost a lot of money. We just know it's going to cost a lot of money. So we just wanted to make sure we were in a position where A, we had the resources to be able to do it, and B, we had the right partners already lined up, which we do, which we think we have now, and C, that we could put the right people in place. That includes the right technologists. We wanted to know that we could drive 25 or 50,000 customers to this exchange to essentially ensure success, and that's what was really important to us.
That makes sense. I mean, because really, realistically, the failure would be of this exchange if a lot of people just don't simply use it, right?
Sure. Well, any exchange, the risk is, there's only been a few attempts at people trying to build exchanges, and virtually all of them have failed for a number of reasons. One, because they couldn't attract anybody to use them, of course, and mostly because their model was they would just charge cheaper fees but try to come in with the same products. Because everybody looks at the exchanges as they're all like these institutional, places to go to hedge and all these institutional guys, all that kind of stuff. But the reality, what we thought is, we don't give a crap about institutional customers or any of that stuff. All we care about is individual investors. So we're going to build an exchange strictly for individual investors, and we're going to bring them ourselves.
Yeah.
And hence the idea for the small exchange came. So our products are called the Smalls, so you can trade the Smalls. And, that's, and hopefully, we've got some great firms lined up to do the market making, and we've been raising capital, and so we feel pretty good about, our situation. Our technology, man, it's killer. And we have this crazy subscription, thing that we're doing. And like I said, our matching engine, I don't think anybody's ever seen anything like it. So it's going to change the way people trade futures and the way they do futures and options and everything else. So, I don't know if how great our products are or not, but they're definitely different, and they're completely standardized. Do you trade futures right now?
I do. Yep. I trade the E-minis on Thinkorswim.
Okay. So like when you trade, well, you should be trading on Tastyworks, but when you trade E-minis, and then let's say you go trade NASDAQ futures, right? Mm-hmm. And the difference between the two is that, one's $20 a point, one's $50 a point, right? Mm-hmm. And then if you ran over and you trade bonds, you're talking about, $31.25 a point, and they're still using fractions. Then if you run over and you trade crude oil, it's 10 cents a tick. Mm-hmm. And then if you flip to British pound, it's, $6.25 a tick. And then if you go to the euro, it's $12.50. So every product I just named is completely different tick sizes.
Right.
And most of them have different expiration cycles too, right? It's all crazy. And so the reason most people trade regular listed options is because of all the little, the non-standardization of the current futures marketplace. And then if you go to trade at the ICE, they just rip you off blind with, ridiculous fees.
Yep.
So for quotes and everything like that. So I said, you know what, screw all this. We're going to build a standardized exchange. All the products have the same expiration date. They're all going to be cash settled. Whoa. They're all going to have the same tick size. They're all going to be, so anybody that trades any product we have, it's all the same.
Wow. That's huge, man. That is exceptionally exciting.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun. And you can be part of it. I mean, for $100, you open an account at Tastyworks. If you open an account at Tastyworks, we give you the membership. And if you don't want to do that, you just, you pay $100 and you get the subscription, and it's going to be, and we'll see what happens. And if you don't even want to do any of that, fine. Just use the exchange when it comes out.
Totally. Is that $100 a week, a month, a year? One time?
And forever.
One time
forever.
Wow.
Never any other fees or anything else. I mean, there will be for the people that buy subscriptions at a later date once we get exchange approval. Sure. This is like kind of a pre-build price. Mm-hmm. So we're doing it, we're trying to do it so we want to give back to all of our customers that have been really good to us, and that's why we're doing it.
What brokers will initially be linked to this exchange? Will it be all of them, or will it just be Tastyworks? I have no idea. So, I mean, obviously Tastyworks, yep. And one of our other sister companies, Doe, and one of our partners in the deal is Apex, which is a clearing firm, and there's like probably 1 million customers at Apex through all these different firms, but they're partners of ours in the deal. So
because they're owned by Peak Six, and Peak Six is Tasty Trade's partner in the small exchange.
Mm-hmm.
And, as for the other big firms, we don't know. We're going to talk to them all.
Right.
We're going to talk to everybody. We'll talk to TD, we'll talk to E-Trade, we'll talk to Schwab, we'll talk to Fidelity. We'll talk to everyone. Whether or not they come on board, I have no idea. We think the commodity firms will come on board for sure. Most of the commodity brokers, but whether the big, online brokers come over, it remains to be seen. I assume they will. And if they don't, we're just going after all their customers to trade futures.
Sure.
So, it's in a crazy way, we kind of hope that they don't, because then we're just going to go get their customers.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, if you want to trade the small exchange, you got to come over to us.
Man. Well, it's a good approach, definitely a good goal. I have a trader who's asking a question. His name is Robert Falco. He says, do you ever see a broker going to a flat fee for unlimited trades or a large set amount, similar to like data subscriptions being unlimited now?
It's been tried before, actually, and it's not a very effective. It's been tried, so it actually exists already. There's a couple of firms that have tried that around the world. One firm tried it in India, one firm tried it here in the U.S. The problem with it is that it ultimately doesn't just come down to fees. It comes down to things like, content. It comes down to things like content. It comes down to things like, how good is your technology? How fast? Like our platform, for example, Tastyworks. It's built on high frequency technology. It's 25 milliseconds to fill an order. It's like a high frequency firm. The closest retail platform is probably 20 times slower, but people don't know that. It's just today you want to be with the best content and the best technology, and then we already don't charge for closing trades, so we only charge to open. We don't charge to close.
Right.
So we're already at that point where, there's not much more room left.
Sure.
Fees have been crazy commoditized. Fees are almost a non-event right now.
They agreed. And that's what
I used to trade. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's okay. I was going to say that's what was the broker that did that first? Was it really Robinhood, or was there another one that really just came in and really disrupted that whole commission fee structure?
Well, the one who's disrupted commission was us at Tastyworks, because we went to the zero on the zero to close, and that lowered everybody's. We reduced the fees from like TD and Schwab and those places by almost 60-70%, but Robinhood went to the zero model. But then again, their customer is very different. Their average account size is probably, not much more than a few $100s, as opposed to, so it's a very different model. Robinhood is a total outlier, meaning that they've done something that's amazing. Listen, they built a $5 billion company, or whatever the valuation is. It's remarkable. So I consider them an outlier. I think that's incredibly hard to do, what they did. I don't like their. I love what those guys have done. As a trader, I couldn't use their platform.
I can respect that. No, it makes tons of sense, and that's. Hey, like you mentioned, they did something big, but the closing cost, the zero closing cost with Tastyworks is absolutely huge, no question.
Yeah.
And that's if you're profitable or not, right? That doesn't mean like if you sell an option, you want to buy it back. That means anytime you open an option and you go to sell that option, there's no closing cost on the sale.
Yeah, no matter what you do, if you open or close first. And we do one other thing. I love this, Jeremy. We cap everything at $10 max. So if you trade 10 contracts, let's just say it's $10 to open, nothing to close. But if you trade 100, it's still $10 to open, nothing to close. You trade 1,000, $10 to open, nothing to close. So effectively, we've capped everything at $10. We've been doing that for 2 years now.
I love it.
So we have no closing. We have no closing. Let's say you did a 50-lot iron condor. We charge $40 total.
Yeah.
No, but everybody else is like 150, 200 for that same trade, maybe even more than that. Who knows?
What type of kickback did you get from other brokers when you started doing that? I'm sure you got some nasty emails, some nasty grams.
They don't. They've always hated us. Every single broker hates us. Every single. Listen. I don't get invited anywhere. I don't care. What the hell? I'm not friends with those guys.
It's capitalism 101.
Yeah, I don't. I assume they respect us because we're really good at what we do, but I don't know. I don't care if they like me. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
As long as they don't run me over in the street, I don't give a rat's ass. They don't. We don't have. We're a very closely held private firm, and we don't. We really don't care what other firms think of us.
Oh man, I love that. It's great. It's a great attitude to have. Just pure, just helping the people. I mean, you've mentioned that a few times. Individual investors.
We're very customer focused. We're an advocate for retail investors. We've been that way for 20 years. We've definitely changed the way every firm interacts with customers, from getting rid of the stupid call-in fees, to getting rid of ticket charges, to getting rid of closing trade fees, to free IRA accounts, to being able to trade whatever you want in your IRA, to adding complex spreads, to adding futures in IRAs, everything like that. We've changed everything in this business. So it's been great. We have fun.
Is Tastyworks available in Canada?
No.
How do we make that happen? Not yet. Okay.
We're working on it.
Okay.
We're working on it.
Got it. What about other countries, or is it just U.S. based right now?
We are just about to get licensed in Australia, so we're approved. We just haven't signed off on margin yet, but we got all the approvals. So Tastyworks Australia is about to open, and we have a team in Sydney, and so. Other than that, we have 65 other countries which we're already taking customers from, and we just added Colombia today. So throw Colombia on the list. So 66 countries, and we are going to be licensed in Australia, and then eventually we're going to be licensed in Canada. We're working on it right now. Okay,
well, that's very good to know. I mean, that's Canadians. If they're not using Interactive Brokers or maybe TD Ameritrade, through Thinkorswim, they don't really have any other options. Why I say that? I mean,
no, it's tough. Yeah, it's really tough in Canada. I mean, the Thinkorswim platform that we built. When we sold Thinkorswim to TD Ameritrade, we had to sell Thinkorswim Canada to TD Bank, and so that was part of the obligation. So we didn't really even get paid for it, but it was part of the deal. So they own the Thinkorswim Canada. So TD Ameritrade actually can't go to Canada, part of their deal with TD Bank. So, that's one of the platforms up there. There's, they need our platform up there. We're gonna lower fees, and we're gonna try to. Canada's our largest audience outside of the U.S., so we're definitely gonna get to Canada. We've had trouble finding a clearing firm.
Yeah,
we now have a clearing firm, but we couldn't find anybody that would clear us.
Yeah, that's the challenge for sure. And I want to go back to, not to necessarily focus all about Tastyworks. You're welcome to talk more about the small exchange, but I do want to focus on what you mentioned about IRAs, because I want some people to know about that.
Sure.
In Tastyworks, what can you do in an IRA that you can't do in, let's say, Schwab, for example?
Oh, well, a lot of things. First of all, I'm not even sure what you can do in Schwab, but but just you can choose any kind of option spread that you want in an IRA account at Tastyworks. I don't know what the limitations are in Schwab, but we're also about to permission futures and futures options in an IRA, and I know you can't do that at Schwab. But the thing that really stands out is we let you sell naked calls in an IRA, and they do not let you. They for sure do not let you do that.
Interesting. What about naked puts or selling?
Oh, naked puts, sure. Wow. There is no margin in the IRA account. There's no margin.
Right.
So the one thing you can't do is borrow money in an IRA account. That nobody can allow. That's the whole thing with IRA accounts. They're individual retirement accounts, but they don't allow for margin. But you can sell naked calls with us. You can sell naked puts. You can. We fought for naked calls for 2 years. Naked calls, naked puts. Like I said, we're about to launch futures and futures options, and any kind of option spread that you want.
Who are you fighting with when you say we're fighting to do naked calls? Is that
Oh, that would be regulators. Those are regulators.
Gotcha.
Lawyers and regulators, and just trustees, and trying to get it's one thing to say, hey, we can do this. It's another thing to find a trustee to allow you to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't have the back end technology set up to monitor the risk, that kind of stuff. So we have to take on a lot of responsibility.
Where's the next place that some of our listeners can find you, Tom? The next place that you might be doing a presentation? Because the last time that we connected was up at the Money Show in Chicago. That was all the way back in July. Do you have anything else coming out around the corner?
So we got a crazy schedule on the Tasty Trade site. There's an events page, and you can see. But we're all over the place. We're like, we're a hot mess when it comes to travel. We are going to be next show is going to be in Dallas a week from Saturday. Then I'll be in Peoria at Bradley University 3 days later, if anybody's in central Illinois or southern Illinois. Then we'll do Traders Expo in New York City in early March. And then we'll be in San Diego and Las Vegas. So he said, she said, that's our own shows at the end of March. And then we go straight through April and May and June, and we just keep going all year.
Just keep grinding.
Well, our live shows are a big part of our business.
Yeah.
So every other weekend we do a live show somewhere. So every other weekend we're on the road.
Wow. Every other weekend. That's fantastic, man. I love your schedule, and I do want to let everyone know that that's I have spoken to, I think it was Melanie at Tastyworks as well, and I'll include some links if anybody wants to sign up for a Tastyworks account, at least try it out. You heard it here from the man. I mean, it's a great platform. Does it have OCO orders yet? I know that's one thing for advanced option traders. Like if you get into
we're about to add OCOs. So we haven't added them yet, but they're built. We're just testing them right now, so they should be added very soon.
Beautiful. And there's no minimum for account opening at Tastyworks, right?
There's no minimum, but we suggest $2,000 because that's the FINRA minimum for a margin account. Mm-hmm. But the cool thing at Tastyworks is when you sign up, you can sign up for the works, which means we don't have all those permissioning and all those levels that every firm has. You don't have to, once you go apply for the works, you're just approved for everything.
Oh, that's killer. That's a really, really
so you don't have to deal with all the crazy suitability stuff.
Do you get any day trading buying power in Tastyworks?
Sure. If you have over $25,000, you get 4-to-1.
Got it. 4-to-1 if you have over 25,000. Beautiful.
Yeah, 4-to-1 intraday.
Yeah.
4-to-1 intraday if you have over 25,000. It's 2-to-1 if it's 2-to-1 overnight.
Mm-hmm. Oh, makes sense. Well, I mean, I was just asking because these are some questions that were popping up in the chat pane as I was.
Sure, just fire away. Whatever you want to ask, because I can't see the chat, but whatever you want.
No worries at all. Drake says, looks like I need to switch brokers. I've tried Tastyworks, and it really is very useful. It's super easy to download. It can work on both a Mac and a PC, which I know that sounds crazy, but some brokers don't work on Mac and PCs. Yeah,
our stuff was built. So the team that built Tastyworks built Thinkorswim, 19 years ago, and we built this platform 2 years ago. So it's just faster technology. We cut out all the bloat. We kept it as a single screen right in front of you, basically, and cut out all the bloat. Our quotes are not throttled. Our platform can support 50 times the amount of messaging back and forth, and it's very stable, very fast, and very cheap. And that's our goal with a platform. No bloat, no funky stuff. Just give them what they want.
All about the customer, man, customer centric. And I will let everyone know, anyone who's listening, having met Tom in person, you're a great guy, man. Thank you for just being one of the genuine people who actually care, who reply to emails, who's a nice guy in general. You work hard, you create changes, you make disruptions, and you're doing it for the customers, man. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your experience. And thank you for all you've done, Tom. I really appreciate it.
Hey, thanks. I'm sorry I have a cold, so it's sneezing in the storm.
No worries.
Hopefully next time we talk, won't have to drag you down with the voice. But thanks everybody for listening, and thanks so much for having me on today. I appreciate the opportunity to just chat anytime you want.
My pleasure, brother. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thanks. Okay.
Right, bye. See you. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Mr. Tom Sosnoff, one of the original creators of Thinkorswim, also the gentleman from Tasty Trades, wearing the beret, and also one of the co-founders of Tastyworks. Great platform. I have used it. Like I said, the OCO order thing, as soon as that's available, I'm sure a lot of you will probably more or less try to pop over and test it out. I will have, and I do have, a link for anyone who wants to access Tastyworks. I have a little, like a referral code. I don't think I actually have it set up yet, but in the post editing, I will give you the links for that if you want to check out the Tastyworks account. Open one up, try it out, price it out, see if it works, see if you like it. It does have some really nifty screens. I do love their option building platforms. And like I said, the OCO order thing, I've mentioned that to Tom before in the past. They're working on it. It'll get there. And anyway, that's just a little bit of a small tidbit from Mr. Tom Sosnoff. Hope you all enjoyed that interview. Thanks so much for listening. You rock. Lee says, send me the link. Steven says, can you email out the link? Yes, I will email out that link. Don't you all worry. Let me just save this really quick. Tom S. And yeah, I'll get that link out to you all. No worries at all. But I will say, I mean, again, even though I said it in person on the interview, Tom really is a great guy. Super nice. One of those that you feel like you might think he's in like an ivory tower kind of a position, but he's really not. You can walk up to him, shake his hand, talk to him if you ever see him in person. Just a really nice dude and really, really caring, very driven, spends a lot of time to help people. Anyway, awesome dude. Lee and Steven want the link. Yes. If you don't mind reminding me also, just shoot me an email in Slack. Like I said, I will email out everyone with this interview a copy of that link so that you can go and test it out. Real Life Trading, so that you all know, has been working on partnering with a broker. So I have told Tom that and the Tastyworks team that as soon as they get an OCO order option for their options, I most likely will do my absolute best to become a partner with their broker. So I've reached out to Robinhood, I've reached out to Interactive Brokers, I've reached out to Thinkorswim, I've reached out to a lot of the other brokers I think are reasonable, and I guess that they have other fish to fry. But that is something that Real Life Trading is working towards, so that we can all kind of have like one semi-universal quote-unquote platform that we're all very comfortable and very familiar with. And anyway, tie in all the loose things together. Bob says, do they have a mobile app? I believe so. Yeah, I believe they have a mobile app, and their charting is pretty decently. Yeah, charting is pretty decent in Tastyworks. They have option charting, and it's still not necessarily quite as fluid as some of the other charting, but it does have a lot of really useful capabilities, a lot of click, drag, drop, move. So Bob says, yes, I found it, the mobile app. Beautiful. Gorgeous, gorgeous. And again, for option sellers and option buyers, like I said, the fact that it's free to close is definitely a really big deal. All right, cool. Let's go check out some other stocks. Drake says, love the free to close aspect. Yeah, it is pretty sweet. Here's the stock that we left off on for today's special 2-hour real life afternoon swing trading room. Let's go hop over into Sears. And congratulations to the people who made some money on Sears the last 2-3 days. Well done. So, you're getting the selling. This is the blow off top, or whatever you want to call it. People locking in the profits. I mean, it's only going to move so far so fast. It is still Sears. Right, I got to keep that in mind. But what's realistically happening on Sears is, you had the some restructuring, some news came out, some people are excited about just what it may or may not do, but it's on the pink sheets, it's over the counter. They have a Q at the end of their ticker symbol. Here's a weekly chart on Sears, and you can see tons of volume, big candle, big buying, and huge upper shadow. All right, massive upper shadow on Sears, really, really big. So that's obviously some selling coming in there on SHLDQ. As far as how to play it from here, I mean, the traders who played it, you're mostly playing either an hourly chart or you're playing a daily time frame. You're playing some type of dip opportunity. Here's the specific direction of the trend. Here's a little bit of a resistance right here. So, yes, I mean, if it can pull back some more, you're welcome to take a small little stab at Sears, buy a little bit of a dip. But at this particular point in time, trend looks – I mean, it's going to be Sears. Be speculative on it. I do not think it's going to be a long-term buy and hold, at least at this particular point in time. But if it starts breaking some support, trades a little bit lower, and you're looking at buying it, it can be a fun – little cheapo to take advantage of on Sears. Okay, next on the list is Arlo, ARLO, and we've been keeping a close eye on this one because we were looking at getting in and trying to bottom fish on Arlo a little bit. Clive says AUO is a better play at 360 with a morning star. I think we have time for AUO. All right. So do I want to go bottom fishing on Arlo? So it's up 4% today. It was a gap and go. Here's an hourly chart. It still looks pretty good, honestly. I mean, we'd be able to move the stop eventually to 335 on ARLO. Again, definitely trying to pick a bottom on this one without question. I mean, all I can say on this, ladies and gentlemen, is obviously it's going to be a little bit aggressive, right? Going to be a little aggressive. If you're looking at playing Arlo, you by no means have to, but 387 by 307, I could get behind that. All right, so today is the 14th. Valentine's Day, ARLO, 387. Let's see, 387 by 307. And again, earnings just happened not too long ago. Bottom fishing. So I'll put this as a high risk, high reward. It's based on a gap and go because it gapped down. So it would technically be a fade. Anyway, that's what I got on ARLO. We'll see if it bounces. Again, pretty cheap, not super expensive stock. I am bottom fishing, trying to see if this thing will reverse and fill the gap. Pretty aggressive entry. I get it, but I don't think it's too crazy because I could easily just move the stop up to 332 and we lose about 0.7 Rs, which is, comfortable. And anyway, that's Arlo. All right, so let's go look at Pfizer, ticker symbol PFE. And Pfizer is sideways. Sideways. So I had a trader asking, how would you play something like Pfizer? This was asked kind of yesterday. And with something like Pfizer, I mean, if you're looking at the daily chart, you can just see it's really, really sideways. I mean, at least over the last few months. Weekly chart, however, has kind of been going bullish. And monthly chart, we've traded back up into a previous resistance. So this was a 2000 tech high on Pfizer. So my personal thoughts on this one is if you're pulling up a chart like this and you want to play it, you can play it bullish to non-directionally. So on the daily time frame, right, we're just trading sideways. It's hanging out. You could do put sales, right? You could do bull put spreads if you get some premium. You would have to go out pretty far in order to get some good premium on Pfizer. And if I'm looking at it, if you're looking at playing a trade like this, meaning like you're trying to buy it, you just want to buy it as low as possible. So for example, if I was looking at Pfizer, I would kind of have a support line right about here and say if it broke this support, very similar to how it happened over here, I would look to just get in long. So kind of hop in around, 40, 50, $40.50. Look for that quick little flash lower and then kind of buy the dip. Otherwise, I mean, it's a stock that most likely will go higher at some point. So if you zoom into a 15-minute chart and just buy at support and hold until it goes higher, that's also a valid strategy because it's Pfizer. So it most likely will go higher at some point. So right now, it does look a little bit channelish, right? So if it trades back down to this 40-40 support, throw in a few shares, buy low, sell high, runs back up to 42, you can sell it. Depending on how many shares you buy, I mean, that's 60 cents on 1,000 shares is $600 every day. Every day. All day. All right, that's Pfizer. Next on the list, Shopify. Ticker symbol SHOP. And the Shopify, beautiful retest. Very nice. So pretty much exactly what we talked about on Tuesday. So on Tuesday, had a huge white candle, said, hey guys, if it gaps up tomorrow, let it fade down, buy the dip. Here's the hourly chart. And if I just turn the extended hours on, it gapped up and trade down into those averages. Here's the 15-minute chart and the 15-minute chart, same thing, right? You gapped up yesterday, pulled back down, had some buying opportunities. So at this point, I mean, the 10 EMA on the daily looks strong. My next target on Shopify is $200.39. My buddy Bob says, so mad I missed selling puts on Tuesday. Oh, dude, I know. That was the day to sell puts, eh? What a good gap down. Here's the weekly chart, and the weekly chart on Shopify. I mean, just a lot of white candles in a row, but a good retest more often than not. So pretty cute on SHOP. Decent little trends. I think you might get another shot at it at some point, Bob, but right now, if you're playing Shopify, it just looks like a bullish trend is the most likely scenario. Speaking of, another Bob wants me to check out PK, which I believe is Park Hotels and Resorts. And this looks nice. Let me just look at a weekly chart because I have no idea what the stock does. Trades sideways. Park Hotels and Resorts. I wonder what parks and which hotels. Look at this support break right there. Boom. Trap run. And then look at these two traps right here. And then this is where all the newbies bought right there. And then they got trapped and then it ran all the way back down. That is amazing. Stock market. You are so funny. Look at that. Just right above that resistance, right below that support. Okay, so PK, that's the weekly. Here's the daily chart on this beast. Inside candle looks really pretty. The high of this candle is $29.95. High of this candle is $29.95. High of this candle is $29.99. High of this candle is $29.93. A lot of resistance right here. So here's the hourly chart, and the hourly chart looks pretty crisp. If I were playing PK personally, which I'm not just because I can't be in everything, I would look to get in. I think I'm trying to determine if I have to get above this candle. I don't think you do. If you would be more conservative, you could go 30.01 with the stop low of yesterday. So 30.01 with a stop right down here. Here's the 100 simple moving average on an hourly chart, just a kind of a crisp looking move. Here's the extended hours. It's above the 100 on the extended hours. Daily charts in between the long terms on the daily. That's something that can, just at least consider. So if it hits the 200, you could maybe peel off a small position there. But that's my thoughts on PK. Next on the list, WES, West Farmers Limited. I don't think this is on the ASX. Hold on. This one, Western Gas. Here's the weekly chart. Slamming the head into the long-term moving averages. Look at that. Meow. We got ourselves a double bottom. Yeah, I mean, you're just getting punched right in the kneecap. Long-term moving averages, holding it down. Daily chart. I think earnings on this one's right around the corner. Yep, earnings on this one is right around the corner on WES. It did have a cute pop today. Can't deny that. Nice little gap. Let's look at this one next Wednesday. Since it's an energy stock and it's going to have earnings very soon, and we'll just see what it looks like at that point in time. Yeah, this was a cute move today. A little bit of a retest gap, small retest. Oh, but look at that. Oh, boy. That would have been nice. Entry there, stop there. Look at that bearish candle. That is so pretty. Okay. Next on the list, Wynn Resorts, WYNN. And Wynn had a decent gap down today. MGM also had a gap down. I'm trying to determine if this is a buyable gap, though, because I think it is. Guys, Wynn has been just on an absolute bearish rampage. This is a monthly chart. Wow, look how well it respects its 100 simple on a monthly. The high of this month was 131.50, and the 100 on a monthly is 131.97. Double bottom on Wynn. I think this could be a viable gap down on win. Here's the daily chart. It gapped down, a little bit of a lower shadow. I would love an inside candle tomorrow, but let's just give it one more day. If you're playing win, you really could be looking for a bull play down here. I mean, again, earnings is over. If anything, we could also do a bull put spread potentially. You know, maybe a put sale if the timing is right. We'll see. But right now, Wynn Resorts, I don't know, looking toasty. We'll put that on the list. Tomorrow is Friday, and I will be here again tomorrow for Finance Friday. Normal time tomorrow, 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, just figured since I had the interview and I didn't know any other way to do it other than just do a whole new 1 hour addition to the afternoon room, why not? Just looking at charts and trading with you fine folks, so it's a walk in the park for me. This is where I'm happiest. My boy Tim's has got to go. Valentine's Day supper. Hey, man, I can respect that. Have fun, buddy. Enjoy. Love you. You demand. All right, so that is Wynn. Next on the list, we looked at PDD yesterday, and I did kind of like it. Oh, another inside candle. Oh, boy. What you think about that setup, Bob? Do you like it, or should I try to get it lower? JD says, is the interview with Tom Salon? He looked very sick on the last call segment today. We just had it, JD. It has already occurred, my man. PDD. I like this setup. JD says, too bad I missed it. Yep, too bad. Never to hear it again. One time only. I'm just kidding, man. I record everything. Don't worry, bud. I got you. So PDD, this does look kind of cute. I like it. It's above the high of this candle. 28.05. Let me just look at this one more time. Yeah, I can roll with that. Let me just put it over here so I can 28.05 by 26.34. So 2/14, 2019 PDD. Bob got in earlier at 25.32. 28.05 with a stop loss at 26.34. Open has not triggered yet, and I'll come and throw that in here. Angela said, have you done Pfizer yet? Yes, ma'am, I have. All right, so PDD, that's it. All right, cool. So next on the list, we got Tesla, ticker symbol TSLA. Today is Transportation Thursday after all, and we love some Tesla on the show. I would love to do some put sales on the Tesla. See if we can get some premium at some point. We have two down weeks in a row thus far, but what's really interesting is this week is an inside week on Tesla. So that's what we have on TSLA. Here's the daily chart. Daily charts, long-term moving averages, very flat. I mean, we are immaculately flat on Tesla. What makes this interesting is we got some lower highs and some lower lows. So here's a lower high. I said lower lows. I meant higher lows. Something like this. This could be an interesting pennant pattern breakout. I like this high wave candle. Man, Tesla could be a fun gap if it gaps up or down tomorrow. If it gaps down, I'd be looking to sell a put sale or something. Falco says, I did search the 13Fs for the last quarter, and most institutions added to their Tesla positions. That is very good to know. And by institutions, he means his bank account. Man, I would love it to trade back down to here. But, I mean, if we did like an April 200 put sale, there is some premium down there. It is doable. It is a possibility. Let's continue to keep an eye on that one. Bob has a 195 put sale for May. When did you do that one, Bob's? Is that recent? I might do 195 or something with you a few weeks ago. Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. Bob Elm. May 784. 195. Thanks, buddy. That's a decent hunk of premium. I might hop into that one with you. We're gonna do 300 contracts, Bob. Bob says no way. I know. I was just kidding. 300 is a little much. A little high. All right, 195 put sale. May, got it. Thank you. Noted. All right, next on the list is GE. And GE, what's she doing? GE is hanging out. You got yourself a nice little double bottom. That was way back when, and then she slowly started popping. We did look at GE a lot around this area and was talking about buying some dips. So at this point, you have another retest gap on GE. We're up here pretty far, working on a retest. Here's the exponential moving averages on General Electric. And my thought is, since this last candle came in, it probably wants to come back down to that price. So if you're looking at going bullish on GE, I think a $9.58 limit, just trying to buy down there makes sense to me. Otherwise, if it keeps trading sideways and then pops above the high of this candle, I still do think GE gets chopped up and sold for parts at some point. So I'm not saying this is like you need to go all in on GE down here. I by no means would specifically say that anyway. But you can still make some money. I mean, it's still around. It's kind of like Sears, right? You buy the instrument and you know your risk. We can always make some gains one direction or another. So my thought on GE, yeah, buy it at 9.55, or if it keeps trading sideways and breaks out, hop in then. All right, Cisco, CSCO, not much to look at on this one. My buddy Brian has a put sale that expires tomorrow, and he did have that put sale over earnings. Pretty excited that expired worthless, I think. And here's the 5-minute chart, and I never faded this one. Even in hindsight, it's kind of hard to fade. I could have maybe seen a bearish entry below here, but I would have had to hold literally all day to make any money on that. I feel good about not doing anything on Cisco today. If you have some shares of Cisco, this could be a great place to get into a covered call or a collar. I think this is one of those stocks that, as far as a monthly chart is concerned, I mean, it's got room to go. Look at that. Previous all-time highs all the way up there around 70. Sorry. I don't know why I said 70. All-time high was 82. So we have a little bit more room to go on Cisco. Again, weekly chart looks good. Just a nice looking move. And here's the daily. So again, nothing really here to see on Cisco. Other than doing a covered call or a collar, I'd probably wait this one out for at least right now. Falco says Berkshire Hathaway's 13F is out. They trimmed Apple by about 1%. We can go look at Berkshire Hathaway B class shares. Why not? BRKB. And in the meantime, this is what Falco was mentioning right here. The holdings channel. So they still have a share or two of Apple. One or two shares of Apple. Almost 250,000 shares of Apple. Coca-Cola, unchanged, always. Just sitting there at 400 million, no big deal. Added a lot more of Bank of America. Added more of JP Morgan Chase. So that'll probably gap up tomorrow, so we can go look at some of those as well. Thank you for sharing that, Falco. I appreciate it, my man. Here's the long-term moving averages on Berkshire Hathaway's B class shares, and just chilling for right now. Yeah, nothing really massively majestic. Could this turn into a double top? It could. This would be the double top that you're thinking about here. Bam, bam, something like that. It'd have to close below here and then retest. It could. What is interesting on Berkshire is you got this obvious resistance at like 224, and this could be a lower high unless we break above it. So here's a weekly chart and a weekly chart, just chilling. Yeah, no trade right now on Berkshires. But let's go look at JP Morgan and Bank of America, and we're going to look at those tomorrow as well. Next on the list is CenturyLink. We looked at CenturyLink yesterday, and I just wasn't sold on the bearish move, although it did fade for a majority of the day to eventually roll over. Here's the 5-minute chart, and just a great breakdown. So what I could say is later in the day, I would have faded it. I was on the hill shredding the NAR. But here's what CenturyLink did. So this morning, it just rallied. And Dr. Falconium, a.k.a. Robert Falco, just nailed a cheeky little bullish fade on CenturyLink. So shout outs to that for making some money on the upside. And then, she just is – look at how powerful that 10 EMA on a 5-minute chart is. Look at that. Just punched CenturyLink right in the knee. Did again. And then here's one of my favorite afternoon plays. I love it when, market's been open, good solid hour and a half, 2 hours. Stock comes in between the 10 and the 20, throws in some shadows, throws in a little bit of a lower shadow, then it ends up breaking down. Again, I didn't take this trade, but if I would have, it would have been right below here with the stop right above there. I would have exited a little bit at the low of the day and would have exited the rest around here for about a 1.34R trade. Would have been nice. That was pretty. Pretty, cute, solid, and decently obvious. So CenturyLink. What's it going to do from here? It is a gap and go. You have tons of volume. You barely broke the low that happened from 2017. And if I come to a weekly chart, this is a massive amount of volume on CenturyLink. So this is the lowest it's been in a while. I'd still say, hey, if you're playing it bearish, just make sure the signals are there. Otherwise, I'd probably look for a fade on CenturyLink. It's just not going to go to zero. I don't imagine. Based on this gap and this volume, it just looks so obvious to me to go lower, so that means it probably won't. I know that sounds kind of pessimistic, but this is the hourly pre-market. Oh, yeah. Yep. It might barely flash this low or come down to this support and then bounce. Anyway, all I'm saying is I'm just going to watch CenturyLink for a fade at some point, either tomorrow or next week. Remember, keep in mind, U.S. markets are closed on Monday. So another reason I want to do a little bit of a longer session today, just make sure we get our picks in before the long weekend. Valero, VLO. I forget who was looking at Valero bullish. When did I put this on the chart? Oh, yes, that was middle of the day on Wednesday. Okay. So middle of the day, which means Valero, that looks nice. Turn the extended hours on. So this will be, I would do a stop and then a limit lower. So the stop would be 85.15. So if you want to play Valero, this is how I would. And then the limit would just be 84.98. Yeah. 84.98. So that would give it exactly $4 of risk on Valero. So if you're looking at playing Valero, because there was a trader or two that asked about it, you'd pretty much be looking for this. Oops. So a break higher, a retest, and then a bounce. We'll come back and check that out on Wednesday for anyone who is interested in that. Okay, cool. Next on the list is SPWR, SunPower, and SunPower getting a good close today with some good volume. Had an upper shadow yesterday, closed above the 100. There's some rumor towns that this one has a lot of shorts out there, so there could be a squeeze that could form. The only thing is it does look a lot like the market. You have a lot of white candles in a row. I want to take this trade. I think I'll pass on this exact trade. I do like it. Why am I passing on it? Honestly, I can't be in everything. I like it. It looks good. Not a super expensive stock. So if you're playing it, that's how I would. Just a limit buy. It's also probably going to take a little bit longer than I'm willing to wait to make some money on that trade. I mean, I say that I've been in Blue Apron for a month, but realistically, a month's not that long. Okay. SunPower's done. I've already looked at Pivotal earlier today. So let's go check out HBP. What is this? Never heard of this company before. Building products. Again, looks a little like the market in the sense that the last 5 or 6 weeks have done nothing but really go up. Here's the daily. So this is an 8% move today. A little bit light on the volume. The average volume on this one's about 33,000 shares. So you're probably not going to day trade this. I will mention, here's what I would do on this is probably leg into like half a position. So do half a position here and then half a position here with a stop loss down here. And that's kind of like what Felix Hartman was talking about yesterday in the interview that I'll be sending out sometime later this week. Bullish limit buy, and this will again just be half an R and then half an R. Because this is one of those with really light volume. You're definitely not going to day trade this one, but for the most part, will you have an issue getting in and getting out of shares? Most likely not. Could be a random weird pump and dump. I don't necessarily think that's the case since it has been around for a bit. So again, here's the monthly chart. So the monthly chart, stock's been around for a while, so I don't think it's just like a random flash in the pan, although it's been very, very sideways. So if you do get a pullback and it does pop, and you do make a little bit of money on it, that's probably a great signal to cash in the register and move on. So that is my thoughts on HPB. Next on the list, we got ourselves, what is this? AUO. And AUO What company is this? Technology, electronics, equipments, and parts. Wow, it pays an annual dividend. Interesting. This is the weekly chart. So it's a little sideways. A little sideways, but it does have a support. You'll notice this is a support around 323. It's a pretty strong support. It's got some room to go. No question about that. Let's go look at this daily. Wow, look at this morning star. How to play this? If I were playing AUO personally, I would do a limit buy there, the stop loss down there. And if you wanted a more conservative setup, you could get one. You could also have a few more aggressive setups as well. So Clive, I'll throw that into the chat pane since you were kind of looking at AUO a moment ago. There you go, sir. But I do like that gap. It is a nice, it did break above the high, close above this bearish candle, hammer-ish candle. Good volume yesterday. And yeah, so I would just say if it pulls back, look to buy the dip. Okay, now we go look at JP Morgan and Bank of America. Mostly looking at these because the report with Berkshire came out and they've added to it, and that could cause a spike on JP Morgan tomorrow. Right now, not really. So you have a high wave candle. The high of this candle is 103.10, and we're gapping up meagerly. Nothing really special on JP Morgan. Weekly charts. Whatevs. Moving averages or whatever. Daily chart. Again, we got a high wave, bearish candle. I'll put it on the list tomorrow morning just in case it gaps up. It's tomorrow morning, Friday. All right, JP Morgan. And same thing, Bank of America. Both of those got added to that position, and it's flat right now. So BAC is also on this list. So that's absolutely correct. It's not gapping right now, but you got this high wave kind of candle that's inside candle hanging out. Not too much going on with Bank of America. The thing is, this is a retest gap. It's a big retest gap, and it will retest. And so far it has been. So I would love is just another flash down lower and then a bounce out of here. That would be great. That's kind of what I'm like, fingers crossed, some point could happen maybe on Bank of America. I think that'd be fun. All right, nice. So let's go hop over to Amazon, AMZN. And Amazon, Jerry Davis is in a 1655, 1660 bear call spread expiring tomorrow. I'll be keeping a close eye on an iron condor again tomorrow with Amazon. So that was the trading challenge for February, is to do a credit spread of some kind, either bear call spread or bull put spread. Also, the challenge is to do a meetup somewhere with some traders from somewhere around your area. So it can be real life traders, or it could just be some traders in general. There's still 2 weeks to do that. So remember, you can find tons of meetups on meetup.com. You can also find a lot of meetups on stocktwits.com. They post a lot of meetups there as well. And I normally suggest just go to meetup.com, because people who go have StockTwit events post it also on Meetup. So again, that's just a February challenge for the month, and the physical challenge going really well. My legs, this was a great month to do squats and calf raises as I've been snowboarding, and it's been helping, kind of, even though I feel just absolutely wrecked later in the afternoon. Neil says, does Blake and me getting together for HH count? What's HH? Happy hour. Absolutely. Definitely counts. Yeah, man. But send me a picture. I got one of your pictures when you guys were doing the Halloween thing, but yeah, man. Throw a picture my way. I'm going to keep an eye on Amazon tomorrow. If I do a spread, it'll probably be a Condor, most likely a bull pit spread down here, bear call spread up here, if we can get some premium. Brad says, EA if we have time. Oh, we got plenty of time, man. We got a full another 20 minutes to go. I mean, I can always pack it up early if you guys want, but EA Sports. So EA, we've been looking at this one the last 2 to 3 days, and all I said was, hey, guys, you have two choices. It either breaks bullish and you get in bullish, or if it trades down to 97.72, you get in down there. Here's the hourly chart, and hourly chart looks kind of crisp. Obviously, with pennant patterns, we're going to have a resistance. So there's the resistance, and here's the higher lows. So if we get a pop out of here, I mean, getting in at 103.67, obviously you're in a little early. I can respect that, appreciate that, understand it. But if she does pop out of here, the 200 simple moving average would at least be a target, of which you could take a little bit of profit off at that location. But EA, I mean, let's see, my brother, if she does indeed pop out of that pattern. JS wants to look at Activision. Sure. So Activision, ticker symbol ATVI, has been fading. You had a decent gap yesterday, and on Tuesday I mentioned this is probably the bottom on Activision, most likely. And the only reason I said that is because I knew it was gapping up, and I knew there'd be loads of bearish traders trapped on this day right here. Tons of bearish traders trapped. I didn't know that until this gap came in. Good resistance around 45.45, says JS. So very, very close to where we are right now. And here's the weekly chart. So you pretty much at this point, for anyone who's playing Activision long term, you have your line in the sand. If at any point in time it breaks 39.73, for whatever reason it does that, you're going to want to buy some puts. Other than that, I actually like it on the hourly chart, and I would say buy the dip. So here's the extended hours, and the extended hours chart does look kind of cute. You got a really nice dip buy right around there. So here's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C. Kind of come back down, then we start another one. So if you're not in, maybe you can play it around 43 on that dip buying opportunity. My boy Bob wants to check out the Hubs, HUBS, HubSpot. What do you have on HubSpot, Bob? Anything? Let me copy and paste this and just put it over here. It's getting too long. Okay, so today is Thursday. So Hubs, this is the weekly chart. Bob has 130 puts short. When do those expire, my brother? All right, put sale. I'll throw you on the list. June. Okay. June, Bob L. Got it. Thank you for letting me know. HubSpot, along with Salesforce, just rocking it out, making new all-time highs. This thing gapped up on earnings and then gapped down today. This is a really cute candle. I like this. You faded it today? Nice. Yeah, gap down into a moving average. This one, I mean, you might be able to do that one again, bud. I think you could almost bracket trade HubSpot. So that's that is a good gap. I mean, it did trap anyone who bought towards the tail end of yesterday. So here's the 15-minute chart. So 15-minute chart, well, didn't have that much buying at the end of the day, realistically. That lower shadow came from earlier. So it gapped down this morning. Here's the 5-minute chart on HubSpot. And you got this very nice 5-minute bearish high wave candle. First 5-minute candle. And Bob probably went long around here somewhere and got out around here somewhere for 0.75 Rs. Good job, buddy. Well done. And yeah, if you're looking at playing HubSpot, I mean, you really could bracket trade it, just meaning if it trades higher, it gapped down to the 10 and it's in a very nice bullish trend, so why not go higher with it? But if it does break down, come on and give it to me. So if it breaks down strong, then, you play it bearish. All right, FireEye, FEYE. So FireEye is going to continue to fade. That was pretty much my analysis on the gap down from earnings, is just look to play it bullish. And the reason that is because the 100 simple on a weekly chart. So the 200 simple is at 1939. When FireEye breaks out of the 200 simple on a weekly, look at this compression. This is some really, look at these higher lows. Look at that. Nice higher lows, nice higher highs, very pretty. Expecting to chop around and then eventually break out of here. That could be really cute on FireEye. It'll take some time. It'll be slow, but could you possibly buy 7 or 14 shares or something? Maybe even a little bit more, and see if that slowly climbs higher? I think the answer is yes. Especially if, again, it just consolidates and then pops out of there. It could be a decent little run. Mike Ramsey says, nom, 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 nom. Oh, that's classic. Okay. So that's FireEye. Next on the list, we got SNA. It's my boy Brad throwing in another one for me. Snap-on Incorporated. Wow. Never even heard of this company. They pay dividends. Look at this distribution phase. Holy moly. Also, check out this triangle. That is a wide triangle. That's pretty, though. Tools for mechanics. Oh, that's Snap-on. I got you. Okay. Wow, they're that large market cap? Oh, my goodness. I see. I can just hear Falco now. You've never heard of Snap-on? What an idiot. Nice gap down. This does look fade worthy. Yeah, I like it, Brad. Here's how I would like to play it personally. If I were playing Snap-on, which I won't, just mostly because I can't be in everything, I would buy half an hour there and then half an hour right here. And then my stop loss would most likely just go down here. So buy half an hour around 155.83, buy another half an hour around 153.83, and then put a stop loss down around 151.83. Richard says big delivery type of business to a lot of automotive repair shops. Makes sense. Yeah, I get it. Perfect for Transportation Thursday too. Might have to become another member of the reviews. Yeah, it's a very pretty – I mean, if I was a mechanic, I'd be selling some puts down here, probably 3, 4, 5 months out, buy low, sell high. Again, this is a very nice expanding triangle on SNA. All right, let's see. What do we got over here? My girl Joanne wants to look at Stitch Fix, SFIX. Uh-oh, Stitch Fix almost broke its IPO low. Oh. Oh, Clive and Neil are just tearing it up over here in the chat pane. This thing almost took out its IPO low. That would have been great. Wow, what a double bottom. Man, that's so good. Close above there. Beautiful retest. Joanne, I don't deny that it's not a bad setup. I just think there's so much competition in this industry. But I mean, from a technical chart, it's viable. You got this little doji, kind of like a flag pattern. I would buy a pullback though. Exponential moving averages. So there's a lot of resistance right in front of our face. So I most likely wouldn't get into that specific, precise moment in time. But if you had a little bit of a pullback, so here's a daily time frame. So we have a little bit of a pullback on Stitch Fix, something like this. I think that could be a viable event, and yeah, it looks good. All right, that's SFIX, and I think we still got 10 minutes. I can cover a lot in 2 hours. What else you guys want to look at? I said 10 minutes. 8 minutes, 9 minutes left. What's next? Qualcomm, QCOM. Qualcomm, again, long-term blue chip, buy low, sell high. It is a beauty of a support. 200 simple moving average on the monthly. I wouldn't get a stop out down here. If I was doing anything on Qualcomm, I would do protective puts. No question. This is a great buy spot. Worst case scenario, does something like this, traps everybody and then bounces. But again, this is a boring blue chip, dividend, buy low, sell high type of play. But remember, a lot of people can make money off of that. Pending litigation against Qualcomm again, which is almost like a constant recurring theme, but you know, is litigation and class action lawsuits usually two of my least concerning issues when it comes to buying a position. Obviously, though, I mean, it could affect it. That's why I was saying if you do want to play Qualcomm, I think protective puts around 48.30 could be real nice on Qualcomm. Again, not going to play that one personally, mostly because I can't be in everything. So we looked at Teradyne a little bit earlier, and so far she's doing good. I like the trend. Again, just as a reminder, I mentioned this early on in the review today, but tomorrow, if I can be up on all of our swing trades, which is Blue Apron, Teradyne, Sky, GILD, and ICLK. If I go up on every single one of those swing trades tomorrow, there's a 100% chance that I will exit all of them for a gain. So just something to keep your eyes peeled for. So that's TER again. Here's Yum China. And Joseph wants to short it. Yum China. I like where your head's at, man. I mean, it's a huge double bottom. So you would think it would have to retest the double bottom at some point, right? You got a retest gap. So Joseph's looking for this retest to fill. I do like that. Yeah. This is how I would fade it. It'd be good to have a bearish. I can look at this again on Friday, and if it still looks good, I could probably set that up. I'd like to have a bearish trade out there, even if I lose on it. I mean, it's still good to have a bearish trade every now and then. Something like this. All right. And so the bearish stop would be 40.36. But I think it would retest, I'm almost sure of it, at least a 40.47. Yeah, 40.47, and then I could do a stop at 41.47. That looks good. All right, cool. We'll come back and look at that tomorrow, but for a short, I can totally dig that. Okay, that's Yum China. YUMC. Neil says, got to get going. Great interview, Jan. Thanks, bud. I appreciate it. Here's GALT. My boy Richard wanting to check out GALT. GALT. I got the gout. Here's the weekly chart. Weekly 100 simple looks toasty. Look at that thing coming up there. 391 acting as a good support. This does look a little different than the broader market. The daily time frame, I would just like a close. I do love the fact that it closed above yesterday's candle. We can easily come back and look at this one, but I would love a close above here and then a retest and then a dip. Gout. I'll put that on the list for Tuesday of next week. Remember, U.S. markets are closed on Monday. All right. I do think that looks pretty. All right, GLT. EVRI. I can't remember if I looked at it today or yesterday, but EVRI, I love that volume. Trend looks bullish. Bounce looks bullish. Moving averages look bullish. It does have a retest on a weekly chart. So it could at some point come down and fill that gap a little bit. But you got to like this move, the trend, today's volume. Could be a lot of sellers. Could be a lot of buyers. I'm not entirely sure. But my overall thought is just prepare yourself for this. If it happens, it would make tons of sense to me based on today's volume on EVRI. Home Depot, ticker symbol HD. What is Home Depot doing? Weekly chart. Oh my gosh. So exactly like the market. Exactly like the market. Hitting its head against the 200 simple moving average on a daily chart. High wave candle. Earnings are about 2 weeks away. I'd love to see Home Depot trade sideways into earnings and then gap up above that level on the daily chart. That would be really nice. We will see if it happens, but maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Right now, if I was in Home Depot with 100 shares, I'd be getting into some type of collar strategy, most likely. But at this exact moment in time, I like a breakout above here. But since earnings is around the corner, I'm going to wait on it, and we'll look at it Wednesday of next week. Okay, looks like last but not least is going to be Apple. Apple. I was looking at Apple most of the day bullishly. I really wanted it to pull into like 168 and bounce, but it didn't. Here's the 15-minute chart, and post-market, right, with the announcement of Berkshire Hathaway's slowly peeling off a very small position on Apple, it kind of had a quick snap back, and then people went, wait a minute, they still have a quarter of a billion shares of Apple, so, not that big of a deal. So anyway, post-market, it just traded right down to that support level and bounced. I was hoping it would do that today. That's what I was waiting for, and it just never did. Simple as that. Did have a very pretty double bottom in here, though. All right, so boom, boom. There's your S curve. There's the bullish S curve, and then it got a little quick selling. Double bottomed, came back down to that exact low, tweezer bottom, morning star, and then popped for a little bit. Could have gotten a small gain on that. It did trade right back to that exact resistance, and then just kind of traded sideways. So as far as Apple goes on the daily chart, I mean, I love this candle. It looks pretty. I really wanted a little bit of a lower shadow into those moving averages that acted as a support. But I'd have to say Apple at this point, if it bounces off the 10, I mean, a few more days, and I think Apple's just going to keep slowly grinding. At this point, my bearish sentiment's over on Apple. So since it's bounced off the 200, even if Apple does this, which it could, I will be a little bit bearish, right? I'll play some bearish moves. We'll do some fun things on the bear side. Maybe some options, maybe some day trades, maybe a spread or two. But I'm not going to say, okay, guys, Apple's just straight up bearish. Because if it does that, I'll just look to buy the dip down into this support. And that'll pretty much be it. All right, last but not least, I'll take the AAP off and add just the L for my buddy Bob. Bob wants to go short on L. Lowe's Corporation. I do like the volume. I don't love this shaved bottom candle. So if it does retest, it's going to be a little bit on the higher side. So probably right about here with a stop loss up here. It is below the 100 simple moving average on an hourly, which is good. 46.20 by 47.30. That's not bad. Let's certainly come back and look at that one tomorrow. With this shaved top candle, most likely it gaps down tomorrow, trades up, and then rolls over. So if we play something bearish, which I'm totally fine with, I do like the setup, and we're definitely going to look at it tomorrow. Again, just for me to trade it personally, I need to spend at least 18 hours before I can do that. All right, team, that's it. I got a list for tomorrow as well. Joe says, great stuff as usual, Jan. Fabulous interview. Hilarious chat. Thanks for all. Happy Valentine's Day. Back at you, girlfriend. Thanks for being here. Here's everything that we're looking at tomorrow. NVIDIA, ARWR, MC, MERC, Square, WIN, YUMC, L, JP Morgan. JS says, good to be here for the first time. See ya. See ya, my brother. Take care. We can look at Bitcoin tomorrow, BTC USD. Anything else you guys want to look at tomorrow afternoon? Coca-Cola, absolutely. AMD, Micron, sure. Cron, Google, Netflix, CGC, APHA, NIO. Gorgeous. All right, team. You're amazing. I will be here tomorrow. So Friday, the market's open. Monday, the market is not open, though. You rock. I'll see you later.